Hello, I'm MJ Huntsgood, author and Doctor Who collector, and you're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors podcast. Keep collecting.
Larry, it's Fraser. And you use, they all say, who is Doctor Who? Where is he from?
What does he do? They wonder who is Doctor Who? So I ask you, who's Doctor Who?
Welcome back to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast, the podcast that explores the amazingly wide world of Doctor Who collecting and all kinds of Doctor Who merchandise. And sometimes we just talk about Doctor Who. Great place to do that. Thank you for listening. Brought to you in part by Forbidden Planet and Bags Unlimited Incorporated. I am Larry Van Mersbergen, your host, and I've been a Doctor Who collector now since 1981. And if you make me do the math, which I usually don't like doing, that's 44 years. So a long time to spend going through the valleys and hills of shops and auctions and all those great things. So so here we go. Welcome to the 93rd episode of our podcast. We're glad to be on the air. Thank you for listening. Lots going on. So if you heard this part, you can skip through it. But for those who are new, welcome. About me, I opened up one of the first Doctor Who stores in Chicago that exclusively served Doctor Who fans. This was back in 1984. And we actually took our shop to different fan clubs around Chicago. Well, one of those fan club visits turned out to be very lucrative, not just financially, but I gained a very amazing partner who's been a lifelong friend of mine. And we called the shop Bundles from Britain. And we did every convention in the area that year, including some out of state. So we just celebrated the 40th anniversary of the founding of that company. We're mentioned in a wonderfully written book called Red, White, and Who, The Story of Doctor Who in America, published by ATB Publishing. We live on page 384. So every collector and every Doctor Who aficionado wants to learn about the history of Doctor Who in the U.S. should have a copy. And you can find a copy at the publisher. There's a link to buy it on the front page of our website at drwhocollectors.com. It's not an affiliate thing. We don't make any money on it. We just want you to have one. So buy it directly from the publisher. We are part of the Direction Point Doctor Who Podcast Network. So we're glad to be in partnership with some great podcasts out there, including Time Streams, Police Box in a Junkyard, the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, Time Ram, Traveling the Vortex, Doctor Who Literature, and many, many more. So if you want more information on those wonderful shows, or if you have a show and you'd like to be part of this wonderful family, join us at directionpoint.org. And while I'm on the subject of links, I include these links in every episode in case you forgot or you're new to the show. The first one is timelash.com, and on that website, select TARDIS Library. And you want to make sure you get that because you can keep track with a free account. You can keep track of your collection, most of it anyway, books, media items, no magazines or figurines or things like that. And you can also select a want list. And sometimes he has links to eBay and Amazon and places where you might be looking to find something like that. So my special thanks to my good friend Dan O'Malley, who keeps that site free of charge. If you need to do some deeper research and you want to look up who made the Dalek weather vane or who made candy in the shape of Cybermen, you need Howe's Transcendental Toy Box. That book has been on my shelf for many years as a Doctor Who collector, but now it is a wonderful website, and you can do searches that are by year or by title. It's a really wonderful place. I am a contributor there, and of course it's run by David J. Howe. So there you go. He's a great resource for Doctor Who collectors. Now, if you're shopping for Doctor Who items, I'm going to tell you, don't look any further than my friends out there who are doing great business. The first one is DoctorWhoStore.com, and that's owned by Alien Entertainment. Remember earlier when I said Bundles from Britain, I met a lifelong friend and partner. Well, that was Gene Smith, and Gene owns Alien Entertainment. They have exactly what you need and always running sales, so you can find stuff at really good prices. If you live in the Chicago area or the western suburbs or the southern suburbs or wherever you are out here, you can have free pickup from the store, which is kind of a nice thing to do. They have a store in downtown Lombard as well as Logan Square. So visit alienentertainment.com for locations and store hours. We have a lot of great stuff right on our website at DoctorWhoCollectors.com. We are sponsored by Forbidden Planet, and you can purchase things from Forbidden Planet directly through our website. You will check out at Forbidden Planet, and we get a small part of that sale. So you pay the same price, we get part of their profit. So there you go. Just visit our website and select Doctor Who merchandise links. And don't forget our own eBay store. We have a lot of duplicates from the collection on there, and you can find something you're looking for there as well. Lots of stuff. The other place you want to go to is in my good friends down at Who North America, Keith, Jenny, and David. They opened up a while back, and you can find them at whona.com. And lots of stuff there. We'll be talking about them more a little later on. And don't forget about our friends at the Who Shop in London. They are listeners to the podcast, so a big shout out to Alex and the crew out there. You can find them at thewhoshop.com. In addition, on our website, to all the podcasts, some providers only provide the last 10 episodes. We have all 92, or in this case, 93 episodes. So, but we also have on there the complete guide to classic hardcover books. These are the books published in hardcover. We include the ones from 1964 and the White Lions from 1973, the Nelson Doubledays from the 80s, and the Aeonian Amarian books from the late 80s. But mostly it's the Universal Tandem classic books that were done in dust jacket with clothbound or later laminate by Alan Wingate and W.H. Allen. So those books lasted from 1974 all the way to 1988. We just finished covering those in our podcasts, but we have all that information online, including what they're selling for these days. We keep track of sold prices either on eBay or through private sales, and we try to make sure that it's accurate so that you're not paying too much or you're not asking too little if you're selling one. There you go. If you need advice on how to, where to sell your books, or if you have books to sell, let me know. We're more than happy to help. Okay, what's going on? Well, here we go. Chicago TARDIS. It's not the first one coming up, but it's probably the biggest one coming up. That is Thanksgiving weekend at the Westin Hotel in Lombard, Illinois. About 40 miles outside Chicago, so that way you don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to pay heavy taxes on the hotel. It's a really good thing. But we have included, for the very first time, Christopher Eccleston is our main guest in his first Chicago TARDIS appearance. He will be there on Saturday. And as of this recording, Saturday only tickets are almost gone. So you might have to buy a weekend pass. They can only have so many people in the hotel. So apparently this is big news. So he's doing 2 autograph sessions and 2 photo sessions, doing a photo session in the morning, one in the later part of the morning, and 2 autograph sessions to accommodate the crowds. Of course, I'm very pleased that I have an all-access pass, so I will be first in line for all of those. I do have my tickets for him already, so we're all set. Also appearing with Mr. Eccleston all weekend, we've got Joe Martin, the Fugitive Doctor, Carol Ann Ford, the very first companion, Susan, Jason Haig-Ellery, the CEO of Big Finish, Annette Badland. I know she played a monster in the Ninth Doctor era, but you can also remember her from Ted Lasso. She was the pub owner. We have Mickey Lewis. He's a professional monster. Steph DeWally. I'm excited about meeting her. She was in Joy to the World and one more episode that escapes me at the moment. And then we've got a lot of Big Finish folks, including Sean Carlson, Miles Richardson. He was Irving Braxiatel. Jacqueline King is there. She played Sylvia Noble. We have Susan Twist, Robert Strange, Stephen Love. My good friend Christopher Jones will be there. He's a great artist. And Alex McQueen. And, of course, Fraser Hines. You get Fraser with your ticket, usually. He'll be back this year. He missed us last year, and we I know a lot of folks had cardboard cutouts of him at Elihu because he got sick and couldn't make that one. So there we go. It's November 28th, 29th, and 30th. You can find out more at chicagotardis.com. I would act quickly. If you want to get a Saturday-only pass, it may be too late by the time this podcast airs, but tickets might be available for the whole weekend. And it might be worth it for you if you want to see Christopher Eccleston. So there you go. Not many left. Actually, I looked earlier. As of today, which is September 23rd, 8 tickets remained. So it's very likely those are going to be gone. Before Chicago TARDIS, I'm going to invite you to a one-day Doctor Who festival, Doctoberfest Regenerate, set for Saturday, October 18th. I am the headline guest, so it's me. I'm very honored to be a part of Doctoberfest. I've been a part of them for several years. It's wonderful to see so many people down there. Some friends who follow me on TikTok will be there. Some folks that were there in the past come every year. It's just some great people there. My presentation this year will be on Doctor Who toys and games from 1964 to the present. I'll be doing it twice, it looks like. And it'll be held in the new multi-purpose room inside the store. My dealer table will be outside in the tent. So if you, I've got some new stuff that just came into stock here. I've finished a part of my collection today on one run, and I'm got some extras on others. So there you go. Be sure to stop at the table at my tent outside when I'm not presenting. If you're interested in having me present at your convention, if you're a convention host or runner or somebody who says, hey, you should get this guy, he's so good. Or, it's just, somebody else talking. It's not me. You can contact me at drwhocollectorspodcast@gmail.com. Just include that in the subject line so I get it and be happy to do it. I know every year I approach Console Room and they never get back to me. So if you're out there from Console Room, answer your email. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm committed to. Lots of rumors out there. I talked about those hardcover books from Wingate and W.H. Allen earlier, but I always get these folks that say, hey, I've got a third printing of Space War. Okay, can I see the page? Well, I sold it years ago. Well, that means you probably didn't have it. Because we can't find one. There's no evidence that one existed. So lots of rumors about those. So I'm always on the lookout for concrete proof. That means a photo of the spine, the cover, and the copyright page that tells me what printing it is and what the year was. So that's important. If one was printed, that would be there, and we can then, and that would be great. If you did find a third printing of Space War, send it to me, and then I can put that out there and really frustrate or educate, I should say, collectors out there who are going to be searching for that book. All right. So if you have a collection you'd like to talk about, and I mean really talk about your collection. I love talking to collectors. I'm doing one today, as a matter of fact. This episode, we're talking to a collector. You can be on the show. Absolutely. We love to have you here. We've had some pretty interesting people on this show, from Doctor Who stars like Peter Purves, Big Finish stars like Sadie Miller and Tim Traylor and Lauren Cornelius. I've had my interview with Katie Manning that I did at Chicago TARDIS on here, and my interview with Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury on here as well. And by the way, I'm really sorry if the audio quality wasn't great. We did our best on the recordings, but, that sometimes happens. So anyway, be a part of that crowd. Be on the podcast. Contact me, drwhocollectorspodcast@gmail.com, and put guest in the subject line. And on today's show, I'm speaking with author M.J. Huntsgood about her Doctor Who collection. And be sure to follow her on Twitter. I want to thank our patrons out there. I know our Patreon page has needed some tender loving care lately, but if you want to see special video content, including the interview with Peter Purves, which is only available on Patreon, just go to our Patreon page and subscribe at the $15 level to see that. And you can find us at patreon.com/Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. The money we raise helps pay for the podcast fees, the hosting fees for our website, that kind of thing. It does not go to the collection area. That's something different entirely. So if you're concerned, that's where the money goes. If you want to support us at a lower amount or any amount at all, you can go to Podbean at drwhocollectors.podbean.com, select become a patron, and you can support us at any amount you see fit. Our theme song is Who's Doctor Who, composed by Barry Mason and Les Reed, performed by Fraser Hines. And you're thinking, Barry Mason and Les Reed, how do I know those names? Well, they wrote a lot of songs for Tom Jones, including It's Not Unusual. So this one just didn't do very well on the charts. Also, if you listen to the guitar work, the guitar on the track is played by Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. I kid you not. Fraser told the story himself. You can hear this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and many, many more. We are, of course, a Direction Point Network podcast. So after the break here, of course, we'll have My Time, we'll have our main story, and our most outrageous offer. Stay tuned.
Traveling the Vortex.
Are you ready to embark on an epic journey through time and space? Join the thousands of Whovians around the world who've discovered Traveling the Vortex, the ultimate Doctor Who podcast for die-hard fans and curious newcomers alike.
Every week, we dive deep into the Whoniverse, discussing the episodes, theories, and hidden gems. We dissect the Doctor's adventures, share behind-the-scenes stories, and explore the legacy of this iconic show.
Traveling the Vortex brings fans together, fostering a global community of Whovians. Whether you're a fan of classic or new Who, there's something for everyone.
Join us on this incredible journey as we unravel the mysteries of time and space.
Don't miss out. Subscribe to Traveling the Vortex today on your favorite podcast platform.
Traveling the Vortex. Your ticket to adventure awaits.
Traveling the Vortex is a proud member of the Direction Point Podcast Network. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Hi, I'm Juliet.
And I'm Nathan.
Experience Doctor Who from the very beginning through a classic fan's eyes.
And through the eyes of a new Who fan.
Reminisce and relive those classic moments with Nathan as he offers fun insight.
Or experience them for the first time with Juliet as she dwells on social issues, history, fashion, and the size of a flashlight.
We're the Time Streams podcast.
Find us on Spotify, Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
It's my time. And now it's time for my time. Welcome back to the show. I'm glad to be here. Anyway, what's on my mind today? Well, anyway, we got some nice items into the collection. We bought a collection from England, and it was the first time I had to pay a tariff. So I may have mentioned that on the previous episode, but it was kind of eye-opening. Needless to say, it's an eye-opening experience. But I got some wonderful back issues to DW Bulletin that go back as early as episode, let's see, it looks like number 15. And it was the breaking news that Time Meddler and War Machines were found. So that takes us back to October of, let's see, what year? It doesn't have that in here. Oh, 1984, October 84. I have a couple of these that, like the first one I got was June of 85 because it was for sale at Larry's comic book store. So I've got a few there that I'll showcase on a TikTok not too long ago. And be sure to follow me on TikTok, Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. We're up to over 1,200 followers. I do a lot of tours of the Who Room. Sometimes I do more than one. We showcase the items. We talk about their history, stuff that, I do sometimes on the show. But it's a lot of fun, and it's been great to get a lot of the feedback. And some of the followers will be meeting me in a few short weeks. So while I'm on that subject, in a few short weeks, I mentioned it in the opening, but Doctoberfest is coming up on October 18th in Canby, Indiana, at the wonderful Who North America store. And that's down in Canby, Indiana. So you can, come down Friday, stay the night, come on in the morning, join us for fun and festivities regarding the greatest show we've ever seen. And I'm doing 2 presentations on toys and games from 64 to the present day. I will be doing them as repeats. So if you want to see them both, you'll get, maybe a different show because I don't necessarily have a script. I have an outline. So that should be fun. Also, we see a real Punch and Judy show. And of course, shop at the Who North America store. And don't forget my table out in the tent. I've got a lot of collectibles that are duplicates from my collection. So if you're a diehard collector or a deer collector, as I was about to say, Come out and see what we got. I've got lots of Target books. I've got some hardcovers. I've got some figures. I've got some bits and bobs, so to speak. So come check it out. Also, another thing, I have recently purchased a Doctor Who bundle box off Abe's Books. Now, I've always had good luck with Abe's Books, but unfortunately, of course, in the time here of tariffs and Royal Mail, the person brought their package to the Royal Mail post office, and they said, we don't deliver to America right now. So they gave it to a company that does, which is called Evri, EVRI. Right now, I am very unhappy with this EVRI company as they have no human customer service, no telephone number that you can actually speak to someone, and the poor seller is going out of her mind. What happened is that they put the wrong label on the wrong package. And instead of a Doctor Who bundle box, I got a package of exploded sweets, sweet explosion desserts. Let's see, from explodedsweets.com. I need to actually contact them. But it's freeze-dried candies and crisp sugar shell with desert fruit flavors. Not something I intend to eat. But I was worried when the box side it came in was really small, but the box had the correct label on it. I took a picture of it and I sent it to the seller, who was just baffled. So she, a very sweet lady, her name is Sue. She was wonderful. I have no problem with the seller. This was a problem with Royal Mail and this EVRI company. And if you're one of my listeners in England, maybe you can enlighten me here. But we have contacted them via their chat to look for the missing package, or if the missing package has been returned. I'm more than happy to return this candy to the rightful owner. I may even get some information as to where this candy is supposed to go. Then we might have somewhere to track down this box, because I'm a little disappointed about that. But you know what? These things happen, and this is not the fault of the seller, although the seller may be on the hook for a refund. So I'm hoping this works out positively. But, things happen. I've done that myself, where I had 2 eBay auctions and I sent the wrong books. But they were so nice about it, they just sent them back. I paid for the return postage, and I corrected it. We took a little loss, but it was a life lesson. Check your work before you put the money on it. But this was not her fault. She gave it to the person. They were supposed to take care of it, and the Royal Mail screwed up royally. That would make a great headline. I know they've already got problems with the post office over there, but the Royal Mail has really messed up. But that's, sad news. But back to the good news here. In addition, coming up soon here next month is Chicago TARDIS. And right now, I can tell you we've got wonderful guests lined up. There was a guest change. This segment was recorded after my introduction. So Robert Strange will not be there, but our good friend Clem So will be there. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again. And another guest was also announced, and that's the great Peter Purvis, who I had on this podcast. And so we are looking forward to meeting again in person. So it was really wonderful news. But if you're looking for that convention, that is Thanksgiving weekend at the Westin Hotel in Lombard, Illinois. We call it Chicago TARDIS, but we held it in Lombard because, for one thing, the parking is free. The hotel rates are lower. The guests include Christopher Eccleston on Saturday, all day Saturday. And there are some wonderful people that are going to be there. So if you're a TikTok follower or a listener to the podcast and you see me Friday and Saturday, I do the Dr. 5 cosplay. On Sunday, I wear my podcast t-shirt. We usually take the Direction Point podcasters. We meet at breakfast, and we go from there. So it's wonderful if you just come up and say hello. I'm more than happy to shake your hand and say hi. I'm definitely happy that you're listening. So thank you. That seems to be all I have on my mind today. So I'm going to move on because we've got a great show lined up here. After a quick break, we're going to talk to MJ Huntsgood, who is an author, but most importantly, a Doctor Who collector, and I love those stories. So stay tuned.
The vervoids are probably the best dirty joke in Doctor Who.
They're hermaphroditic plants.
A lot of plants are.
So there you go. It's based on science.
No, they'll ship anything.
There are probably 11 and handle shippers out there. You just have to drill a hole where his mouth is, and you're all set.
You know he needs the room. I've seen it in pictures.
I'm not saying you're not a fan. I'm saying you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Doctor Who gives a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
You are invited on an adventure across all of time and space, in a completely random order. It's the Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. Jump in the TARDIS with your hosts,
Eric Gulbranson,
Asad Kheshki,
and
Matthew Kressel.
Explore Doctor Who TV stories, audio adventures, and books, both novels and non-fiction. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. It's the entire Whoniverse on shuffle. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast is a member of the Direction Point Network and is available about once a month wherever you find your podcasts. You are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Up there is the scanner, those are the doors, that is a chair with a panda on it. Sheer poetry, dear boy.
And now it's time for the main story on the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Collection stories is always one of my favorite things to do. And joining me today is an author and Doctor Who collector who we connected with on our TikTok channel, which in the last 5 months has gained 1,100 followers. So thank you so much out there, everybody. So please welcome to the show, MJ Huntsgood. Welcome, MJ.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. It was so fun connecting with you on TikTok.
Thank you.
I was so excited to meet so many cool Doctor Who fans on TikTok.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. Just and somebody had told me like 4 or 5 months ago, hey, you need to get on this TikTok thing, and I'm like, I thought that's what the kids were doing. It goes, no, it's you check it out. Do a podcast account, and trust me, do a tour of your Who room, and everybody. I'm like, yeah, that worked. It was amazing. I just did little sections on, I try to do educational things for people who are trying to get into. I mean, because I've been collecting now for 44 years, so it's been a long time, and I used to own a store, so it was easier, but and this was just, and the comments have just been wonderful, and the people that have stopped me at conventions. I was just at Fan Expo Chicago over the weekend, and 3 people said, hey, are you the guy from TikTok? And I said, which guy from TikTok? Yes, that's me. So it was a lot of fun, but yeah, great. It was great to connect with you too. You seem to have a passion for it, and I'm glad to share your story here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it was funny because I actually had never really been on TikTok. I thought it was for the kids. And then one of my friends was on it, and I started doing it just kind of for fun and having a good time, and connected to some readers on TikTok and other authors. And now it's just something I do just because it's fun. It's like I have a couple of minutes to make a funny video. And again, everybody on there is so nice, and I get a lot of good laughs, and I'll joke about my husband who treats me like a princess, and it's always a good laugh. And again, I meet so many great Doctor Who fans on there. I've been following Doctor Who since I was a kid. I used to watch it on Maryland Public Television with my mother.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, and it's funny because my mother's name was Rose, and my real name is Martha. And so when Doctor Who came back in the early 2000s, we used to laugh and laugh and laugh because the first 2 companions. But yeah, I love Doctor Who. I've been collecting Doctor Who since for a little over 35 years. So it's been
fantastic. That's great. Yeah, I love that because it's a show that changed my life when I was 6 years old. So, and I'm still watching it, and I was glad to get the news today that it's been renewed.
Yeah, I saw that story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so listeners, if you haven't seen this yet, the Radio Times has confirmed that it has been renewed, whether Disney likes it or not. So that was their exact words. So whether we watch it on Disney or we watch it through other means, it's coming out. And the other news today, of course, is the battle between land and sea has been announced to air very soon. That's the spinoff with the Sea Devils and the Silurians and Unit and all that. It should be pretty fun. So there we go. Well, before we get into the Doctor Who, I know I understand you're an author. So tell me a little bit about that part of your life.
So what I do full time is I'm a scientist, and in my part time I write science fiction horror particularly. So I have written over 24 short stories. They're available on my website www.mjhuntsgood.com. You can find them in literary magazines and link through there. On the 11th, my poem is coming out through Macmillan Children's Press. The anthology "You're Never Too Much: Poems for Every Emotion." You can pick it up wherever books are sold. And you can find some of my other anthologies on my website. I love to write about the speculative nature of people. Two of my novels are not based around, but like inspired by Doctor Who. So if you like the War Machines, or love seeing the nature of, say, oh my gosh. You ever have a character and that your brain just blanks? The android
sure, all the time.
The android who traveled with Peter Davison's doctor.
Chameleon.
Thank you so much. Chameleon and his challenges relating to people. That is one of the characters in my novel, Tin Heart, who is an AI. And I loved to see those challenges relating to people. And Chameleon's character was one of my favorite characters because although he was not on screen a lot, his relationship with the doctor and being the first android companion really fascinated me. I also loved Turlo and his the first villain companion, and the struggles that he had with humanity. Enlightenment is my favorite episode of Doctor Who. I have an Enlightenment tattoo on my back.
Nice.
It's the Clipper ship in space.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So those kinds of struggles between humanity are things that I love to write about. Tin Heart is one of my novels. It's on submission right now with my agent and is out with publishers. Hopefully we'll find a home soon.
Yes.
And then I did mention I have we were talking a little bit before we started. I have a post-apocalyptic novel that's also out that deals with being disabled in the post-apocalyptic world. I find post-apocalyptic stories and dystopian stories very interesting. I really loved the episode that is that again blanking the Towers, Seventh Doctor. Thank you.
Paradise Towers.
Paradise Towers. Paradise Towers is one of my absolute favorite episodes of all time. I'm a little nervous, so I'm like,
it's okay.
Brain.
Don't worry about it.
Appreciate it. But Paradise Towers is one of my favorite episodes of all time. One of the things I loved about Paradise Towers is it's a bunch of normal people in a very isolated situation, and their terror of being in an isolated situation and having to not escape it, but survive it is what makes it so interesting. They tried to recreate that later on in the modern era with the Jenny episode. With David Tennant and Georgia Moffat, and I don't think it's a very good episode, but I don't think you were able to capture that humanity that you find in Paradise Towers. And so Paradise Towers is a very big inspiration for my post-apocalyptic novel, and that's another one that's on submission right now. That's called The Truth the Dead Know.
Nice.
So Doctor Who really weaves itself throughout all of my work. You'll also see a lot of inspiration in other British science fiction, like The Prisoner.
Oh yeah, that's a great show.
I just got back from Wales. I actually went to Portmeirion.
Oh wow!
I wrote a award-nominated piece for the Healy Review on my experience when I went to Portmeirion. My mother was a big-name fan of Doctor Who, of The Prisoner.
The Prisoner, yeah. She
wrote during the early 90s when The Prisoner was really big. It came back. It was featured on the Sci-Fi Channel with a chat that played below it, and my mother was one of the chatters who was chatting on the Sci-Fi Channel. And she ended up in the New York Times. It was a very big deal. And when she passed away, we didn't quite know what to do with her ashes. So I took her to Portmeirion and I spread her ashes over Portmeirion. I wrote a little piece about that, and I submitted it to the Healy Review. And so that's available on my website, linked to the Healy Review. And you can read it because science fiction, British science fiction is a very big deal in my family. It's been very large in my life for all of my life. And so I really, like I mentioned, my mother and I watched Doctor Who growing up. And I the general in particular, that episode was very inspiring to my AI piece, as well as characters like Chameleon and other characters like remember the Candyman in
Yeah.
that character I found so terrifying as a child. And growing up, even now, even though people think he's so silly, I think that character, his demise is so horrifying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It still gives me nightmares to think that you can be, obliterated in sugar. And I eventually want to kill a character by obliterating them in sugar like that. Like, I just think that that's such a wonderfully horrific way to die. So I think Doctor Who is very underrated, particularly classic Doctor Who, in the visceral ways of horror that they inflict on people. So I just I love being inspired by my horror as a child in Doctor Who.
That's great. I always thought the most horrifying episode I remember seeing as a child was the Talons of Weng Chiang.
Oh my God.
The fourth Doctor. That was dark, and it introduced, Light and Jagfoot. There you go. Yeah, the pinnacle. Yeah.
Oh, got it right here.
Oh, hey,
Classic.
Let's see. Oh, is that one? No, is that one in this pile here? No. Oh, wait, no. Here it is on the bottom. Yeah.
You got one too? Yeah, right there.
I've got all the printing. So yeah, this is the second. So
this is my first. This is a first.
Nice. I got a first somewhere in the back here, but yeah, I bought those were in the grocery store when I was a kid, and they were $2.25, and I bought as many as I could. It was such a fun, and of course they were rewritten for American audiences. So they got rid of the torch and the boot and put the trunk and the flashlight in there, and it was a neat little exercise. They were limited to 10 books, and their license got taken away. But it was a really that was I was just thinking the episode itself with the giant rat and and Mr. Sin with the knife and all that. That is a very terrifying episode. Just from just watching that 6-parter was just always such a wow. I wonder what's gonna happen. It just really made it dark for me. But that's really cool that inspired your writing. That is so neat. So, I mean, just to go to the Doctor Who. So, how did you start your Doctor Who collection? Was there a moment or an item that sparked your interest?
So I had been collecting X-Files materials for a long time prior to collecting Doctor Who, because I started collecting X-Files material from when I was about 8, because I had found an X-Files T-shirt and I was like, oh, this is fabulous. But if I damage this, I might never find it again. So I had folded it up and put it in a trunk, and I was like, I'm going to protect this because I want to have it forever.
Yes.
And I started to collect TV guides, and I would fold them up, and I would put them in a big Ziploc baggie because I wanted to collect them for forever. And
right.
I started to find Doctor Who materials because this was around 1996 when the movie came out. So Doctor Who materials were coming out. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start collecting these Doctor Who materials. And my mother had a friend, his name was Mike Hipkin, and he was in England. And he was sending her X-Files VHSs so we could catch up on the X-Files because it had been out for 2 years at this point. And she was like, well, can you send us Doctor Who things? Because we like Doctor Who too. So he would send her Doctor Who things and I would collect them.
Nice.
It was awesome. It was really cool. And I was about to show you, I have a humongous Doctor Who novelization collection because our library had all of these Doctor Who books and they were going to throw them away. And my mother went, don't throw them away, give them to my daughter.
Don't throw those away. Now, I think at last count, my paperback targets number 482.
Very nice.
So that's the ones on that side, that wall back there, that shelf up there. That's all targets. That's all hardcovers on this side. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Bought a lot of them when they came out. I'm actually looking to get a complete run with all printings because I'm working with another gentleman who's writing a book to identify all the different printings of targets, including price variants and stuff on the back that's different, logos that are different and stuff like that. And I have a lot of those. I just did a TikTok on 2 first printings that had 2 different logos on them.
Oh, amazing.
And we don't know if they were printed in different places or they were just, we ran out of this, so let's keep printing and do this. There's so many stories of the books. hardcover copies of the War Games where you have Terrence Dick's picture and Malcolm Hulke's biography. So they stopped after about 50 or 60 and then took his picture out. So some books have the picture, some don't. So I don't have the one with the picture, but apparently if you do find one, you're going to pay big bucks for it.
That's amazing.
So it's just an amazing thing. But go ahead, tell me about your novels.
Oh yeah, no, I had this, and what was really cool was I actually wanted to show you this one. I keep this one in a little container here. This novelization is the 100th novelization.
Two doctors, yes.
Signed by Nicola Bryant, Fraser
Nice.
Hines, and Colin Baker.
Ah. All right, not to try to one up on yet. I have a copy of that signed by Colin Baker and Patrick Troughton.
Oh, he died before I got to it. This one's
I met Pat back in '84, and he came back in Chicago in '85. So that was
got me.
Pat
I got 3 of the 4. I got 3 of the 4.
Yeah, I mean that's still pretty good. I'm impressed there. I mean, Fraser, I've known Fraser for years. He's a hoot. But that's and Nicole Bryant too. Absolutely.
They're lovely.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, I went to
beautiful.
I got them at Gallifrey 1. I went to Gallifrey 1, met all 3 of them. All 3 of them signed it, put it in this lovely container. I was not going to have it damaged. And
nice.
And then I got Goth Opera, which is one of the Missing Adventures.
Yes.
And I got it signed by Paul Cornell.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, very pleased. I love Goth Opera. It's one of my favorite Missing Adventures.
That is a good book.
But Nyssa, Sarah Sutton's lovely.
She is, yeah.
I mentioned I was a scientist. One of the reasons I became a scientist. Absolutely loving Nyssa.
Yeah, because she was the smart, brilliant mathematician opposite Adric. So that was, I met Sarah years ago. She's a sweetie. Gosh.
I remember I mentioned to her that I became a scientist, and she's like, "I'm not smart. Why would you do that?" And I actually have a really good friend who is named Nyssa. And I was like, "Oh, it's just lovely that you're named Nyssa." And then about a year and a half after being her friend, she'd mentioned me. She's like, "I'm named Nyssa because of Nyssa, right? Like I got named after the character."
Nice. Oh gosh.
Wow, are you serious? Am I that old? And she's like, no. But yeah, she's absolutely named Nyssa after the character, and it just happened to be that we became friends, and it was a lovely experience.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh gosh. So do you have a favorite item in your collection?
So 100% this Two Doctors.
That one. Okay.
That is my favorite. Well, because the Two Doctors is also one of my favorite episodes. It
is a good story.
It is such a fun story. It's so campy. It's so delightful. Patrick Troughton is one of my favorite doctors. And Colin Baker is probably my favorite doctor.
He's a great doctor. Absolutely.
If not just because his episodes are so great. Vengeance on Varos is such an incredible episode. When people tell me that
Jason Connery,
oh my gosh, well, when people tell me that Colin Baker has bad episodes, which if you talk to anyone, they're gonna pull that nonsense out of you.
Every doctor has a so-called bad episode, so I wouldn't
absolutely,
and that's to the beholder, obviously.
But when you say, do you want a relevant episode that's politically important?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Vengeance on Varos. Like that is an episode that will, tug on your heartstrings. It has, social media, social commentary, political commentary. It has bad villains. It has character arcs, and it has Colin Baker sitting on pulling up Jeff Goldblum with his hand out like this as it pans up his body. Let me tell you, that's so flippin' fabulous.
Yeah.
It's such a great episode. And but Colin Baker himself is such an incredibly nice man.
He is.
I remember, my friend was feeling very down on herself for being a lawyer. She was going through some stuff. And she walked up to Colin Baker at Gallifrey 1, and he was like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And she'd mentioned that she was having a tough time. And apparently he had, either been to law school or done something with law school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
this
true. Huge pep talk about how she was going to make it and she was going to be fine. And she left with this humongous grin on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what a great dude. Like, after everything you've been through with the BBC, and you're still willing to be there for your fans.
Oh yes, he's kind of a ham when it comes to the fans. He loves that stuff. I mean, he's been to Chicago TARDIS many times. He's very good friends with the showrunner there, and I actually sat next to him at breakfast one morning, so we had a great conversation. He's just a bundle of laughs, plus the stories about because I brought up a story for him. I don't know if you know of a show called Kingdom with Stephen Fry.
I have not. Tell me about it.
Okay, it's he plays a like a country lawyer, and one episode in the third season, he's investigating these crop circles. So I apologize, listeners, if you've not listened to that, it's on that. That's spoiler alert. You can fast forward through this bit. Anyway, at one point they're driving to the farm in the dark, and it's foggy, and the lights kind of come up on an individual, and as the lights get up, it's a guy in full Tom Baker cosplay.
Nice.
And so I asked, and then Colin plays a different character in there where the daughter's suing them for emancipation. So I asked Colin, I said, hey, in that episode, and famously he stands up and his pants fall down, which is a very funny part. And he goes, is that the one where I lose my trousers? I said, yes. Well, I said, did you have anything to do with the Doctor Who element? And he goes, no, I was completely coincidental. I heard about it and I kind of chuckled that I wasn't part of it. But he also appeared on Top Gear as the Doctor, stepping out of the TARDIS, and Artron Energy and all that.
Yeah.
He's done so many things for children in need and things. You know, the show does. He's not any. He doesn't have any problem with the show. And I've interviewed actors who did have a problem when they got fired from the show, like Peter Purvis, for instance. He's okay now, but he said that after he got let go, he didn't think about the show for 20 years. And until he got asked to do commentary on an audio thing. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I remember that now. And kind of started getting more attention. It's because to him, that was a job. He did 46 episodes and then that was that. But Colin, of course, there was a big hiatus. There was a big season 14, that 14 episode season, which was less than half of a normal Doctor Who season, which became Trial of a Time Lord, was highly criticized and hastily put together. And it was tough. I mean, and of course, he did not wish to come back for the regeneration, which I don't blame him for.
Nope.
But he regrets it now. Like, Tom Baker has regretted not doing the 5 Doctors and things like that. And Tom is still doing Doctor Who at age 92. So
yeah.
It's really something. The actors kind of, well, especially Colin, he says that he says I'm in the smallest club in the world. I'm a former Doctor. And it's just him, Sylvester, Paul, Peter, Tom of the classic era. That's it. That's, John is gone, Pat's gone, William Hartnell's gone. So he said it's really important that he does all of these conventions as best he can.
Yeah.
Because the fans do want to see him. And absolutely, especially when you see a little kid wearing the costume coming up to him, he just goes crazy for that. But that's wonderful news to hear that. So tell me about what else is in your collection?
So I've got a lot of books in my collection. I have a lot of figurines in my collection. They're all in the back right there. I've collected quite a few of the modern figurines, mostly from the early 2000s. I managed to snag a couple of the older figurines, but I wasn't able to grab them because they're up in the back and I couldn't reach them prior to this.
That's okay.
But a couple of the Daleks, which I actually saw a few of them when I was at the museum, which is how we actually met. For those of you who don't know, I went semi-viral because I found the Who North America in Indiana museum, which I'd never heard of.
It's cool.
I was at Gen Con a few weeks ago and was like, fun things to do near me. And it said Who North America. And Doctor Who fan like me, I was like, drop everything. We're going to Who North America. And I was so excited. I got a Vote Saxon yard sign and my neighbor's.
Yeah, he's got those.
No idea what's going on. But I have a few figurines over there. Of course, I have a scarf. I have a ton of t-shirts, lots of fan-made t-shirts.
Yes, I do, right here. This was given to me by Keith and Jenny.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. They've got, I think there's a little towel in there too for Who North America. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I go to Doctoberfest every year, and this year I'm a guest. I'm a headline guest for their one-day Doctor Who festival. They're just wonderful people, and absolutely, Keith and I are very close friends as far as collectors go, because he's been asking me, hey, can you find me this? Because I'm missing this for my Dodge the Daleks game. I'm missing this for that. I'm missing one piece from this puzzle, and I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And I've found a few things for him.
Nice.
But he has a really impressive collection. But that's what the only thing he has a rule about is that no books. It's all toys, figures, games, buttons, things like that. So that case that wraps around the store doesn't have any books in it. So it's really interesting. But he's got all the play sets and all the gizmos and gadgets that came out, including a TARDIS tuner in a box, which I've yet to find.
One of the things he found for me that I was very excited about, because I've been looking for this for quite some time, was More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
I must have watched my VHS of More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS at least, I don't know, 30, 40 times. I can recite it. Like, I've been watching since I was a kid.
It's a great video, yeah.
And I haven't been able to find it on DVD or to stream. And he managed to find it in Shada, so I now own it. I'm so excited. So I actually brought this to discuss it because I wanted to show that he found it for me.
Yeah,
It's one copy left. It's out of print. And before I left Indiana, he got me a copy of it. I was totally beside myself. They were super great. They had a Doctor Who pinball.
Yeah.
We have a Doctor Who pinball in the local pinball place by my house that I get to play sometimes. I get very
Those are cool. Yeah. My brother owns one of those. I did a podcast on it. There's a big story behind that whole project too, including Anthony Ainley. The guy that designed the game wanted to make it all about the master.
Oh, really?
So they wrote this huge script for Anthony Ainley to read, and they sent a contract to Anthony Ainley, and so the guy from Bally flew out to England at the Waldorf Hotel and met with Anthony, and he sat down and explained to him why he wasn't going to do it.
What?
The amount of money they offered him was insulting.
Oh.
To say the least, it was like, I am not going to do this unless you up and they weren't going to up the ante. So then they came back. They had to redesign the game because Sylvester did agree to do. Basically, all the voices on there is Sylvester. So he does some improv, like Dalek in the corner pocket and stuff like that. He does that. But they repainted the board so that it wasn't Anthony Ainley's master. It was closer to the original master. And redid the entire play of the game to be about the Daleks, because they got that permission from the Terry Nation estate, but not Anthony Ainley. So there are a couple of prototype machines floating out there with the Anthony Ainley master on it. I don't know if Bally ever released those or sold them, or they're still at Bally. It's possible they still have them in their basement. But it's a really cool story to hear that. And of course, in the 90s, in 92 especially, the Doctor Who license was free and easy because the show was off the air. So like, oh, you want to do something Doctor Who? Here you go. No problem.
Yeah.
And then in 1990, late 90s, when Virgin Publishing was still doing its books, they said, nope, I need that. We need that license back. So that's why the last 3 New Adventure books have no Doctor Who logo on them. They lost the license. They could still do the story, but they couldn't put Doctor Who on the book.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it was just an interesting time period. But yeah, the pinball machine at Who North America is one of the good ones because it has the moving Dalek, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's a great place. And just listeners, just one more plug. You can, Saturday, October 18th is Oktoberfest at the Who North America location in Canby. The inner room will be converted into a panel room, and that's where I will be with my tables and my toys and games. So there's no cost to attend. Just make sure you buy a hot dog at the food truck. So that'd be Thank you so much. But no, I'm glad I saw that video and I was like, oh, that's exciting that you found that.
It was so thrilling for me. I had so much fun, and I used to write really regularly fan fiction for Doctor Who in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and all of my friends and the fans that I had from when I was writing back then. My cat has joined us. All reached out and they said, "Oh, you found your haven. You found your place. This is where you belong." And I mentioned to them that I would be on your podcast, and they said, "Oh, you're going to have so much fun. This is just for you."
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a lot of fun, and just a great place. If you ever get into Chicago, though, you got to visit Alien Entertainment. That's the largest Doctor Who store in the Midwest.
And I was in Chicago and I didn't go there. I'm going to have to go back. This is just a sign.
Yes. Back, just my listeners know the story, but back in 1984, I opened a store called Bundles from Britain, and we were in. Let's see, if it's in reach here, it is. This was our famous catalog.
Oh wow!
Hand drawn from 1985, and. Of course, there was no computers back then, so this was all hand drawn. And my partner, Gene Smith, and I would do all these conventions. We made a lot of money. Then a few years on, I decided I wanted to go to school and finish my degree, and I sold my half to him. Well, after a few changes, Gene is the CEO of Alien Entertainment, so a lot of that stuff went to that. He also is the showrunner of Chicago TARDIS, which is the largest in the Midwest here as far as a 3-day convention. So it's a lot of fun. We just got Christopher Eccleston coming Saturday to Chicago TARDIS.
Amazing.
So that's going to be fun. We've also got the fugitive Doctor, Joe Martin, will be there. And lots of Big Finish people. We have Big Finish out the wazoo. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, next time you come to Chicago, visit. There's 2 locations. They've got one in Logan Square, Chicago, and in Lombard in the suburbs.
Oh goodness! So my
and it's not just Doctor Who there. They've got all kinds of science fiction. I mean, he was big with all the Star Trek, Red Dwarf, Harry Potter.
Oh, love me some Red Dwarf. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Schmeg. Yeah. Actually, that was fun. Funny story. When you were at Chicago TARDIS, they had Hattie Hayridge.
Oh yeah.
And she sat at our table and she goes, "I bet none of you know who I am." And I said, "The Smeg I don't." And she was like, she gave me a big hug and said, "I was the only one at the table that knew about Red Dwarf." And I said, so I asked Gene, like, "How come you can't get Craig Charles?" He goes, "He's way too expensive." He charges a fortune for appearances because he knows he's popular.
Oh yeah. It's funny because like on Maryland Public Television, we used to always get the same order of the way the shows would come on. It would always be Are You Being Served? Followed by Monty Python's Flying Circus. And then it would be Red Dwarf, Doctor Who, Lake 7. In that order. And
that's a good order.
It was a great order. And my mother and I would have port wine, cheese, and crackers. And we, because we were fancy.
Of course, yes.
And we'd have our fancy, and then we'd sit there, eat our port wine, cheese, and crackers, and have a couple of Diet Cokes, and we'd watch the whole lineup, and it was great.
Okay, well, that's more classy than us. We had Totino's Pizza, and it was Monty Python, Dave Allen at large, and then Doctor Who. And we didn't get Blake 7 for quite a long time. That was usually on earlier. But and we never got Red Dwarf on TV. I saw Red Dwarf on VHS first time. But that was, of course, that was a long time ago. This was in the 80s. But that's, basically how we got Doctor Who in Chicago. And I've been watching it since it started in 1975.
Oh, wow.
So it's when John Pertwee was on TV. And that's, and of course, I met John Pertwee in 1984. So that was biggest thrill of my life was to meet my doctor.
So jelly.
And he now he had a story too going into Chicago. He said the next year I saw him, he said, "Yes, I was waiting for my plane and a person walked up and said he heard my voice and said, 'Oh, are you British?' He goes, 'I love British TV.' He goes, 'What's your favorite show?' He goes, 'Doctor Who.' And he goes, 'I am the Doctor.'" And the pilot, I guess the kid finally recognized him, and he was like, "Oh my God!" So they talked for a little bit. He was just waiting for his plane, but it was really something. And those John was great. Pat Troughton, Elizabeth Sladen was wonderful. Ian Marter, Michael Craze, all no longer with us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But great, that's I tell people it's one of the advantages of being old is that I was around when some of this other stuff was happening. So I was able to meet a lot of those people. But wow, this is fantastic. Let's see. Let me ask you about this too. As a collector, there's always challenges. So are there any challenges that you faced as a collector and how you overcame those?
So I think one of the biggest challenges of being a collector is, and this is going to sound so stupid, is being poor.
Yes, that's a big problem.
For me, I went through when I collected a lot when I was young, and these big containers of like my stuff, and I'd carry them. But I went through a big series of being incredibly impoverished in my 20s, and I made some mistakes dating. I dated a really bad person for a while, and
everybody's done it.
Everybody's done it, and I had to put all of my things into storage, and I spent some time basically homeless for a while. What do you do with all of your things? I sold some things I wish I didn't sell because you've got to make the money somehow, get it back to pay the rent. And, you look back on some of those things you sold and you go, oh, man, I wish I didn't do that, but I had to make that decision. And, you live in a really bad location and something breaks because your roommate broke it, or you had a water leak bust, and and I have a couple. I was even looking at. I have this copy of the Keys of Marinus. Oh, there goes my computer. Dip into the side. Oops.
Yep, that's okay.
Copy of the Keys of Marinus. I keep it. I was because I was going to discuss this at one point, but there's a big water damage, and this is from.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's upsetting, but there were pieces, and this was one that was saved.
Luckily, that's an easy one to replace because they made like 50,000 of those.
Correct, but that does not count the many things that were destroyed. I had a whole box of TV guides that were
irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable TV guides that were gone, like completely destroyed. I had X-Files magazines that were ruined. I had zines.
Fanzines.
I have tons of fanzines, but I had an entire collection of Rerun. Did you ever read Rerun?
No,
It was
that one here.
It was a zine that I got. I had all of them, and they were all gone. I managed to find a few of them, but mainly because my mother was in them, and when my mother passed away, I wanted to get a hold of her zines because send them. And,
of course, yeah.
But like, she's gone, so like when you lose something like that, you can't ever be able to get it back. My brother, I'm the guardian of my brother. My brother is autistic. He has very high needs. And so he collects. And he collects very differently than we do. He plays with the things he collects with,
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
And we have a lot of really beautiful collection stories with him. And I'll tell you one in a second.
Sure.
One of the items he collected got destroyed in fire. And it's like, how do you get that back when you don't have the money for it? But I do have a very beautiful collection story with him, and I'm going to tell you that one real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
He likes Inspector Gadget things. That's his favorite.
Oh yeah.
And one time for his birthday, he really wanted an Inspector Gadget Gadgetmobile 1993 by Mattel. And this item retails at about it resells at about $1,800, $2,000 at the time. And at the time I was working manufacturing, I absolutely could not afford it. And he was staying with my stepmother at the time, and she was like, "It's okay, hon. He's going to understand. Don't worry about it." Not me. Absolutely not. I am a collector. I will find this item. I'm going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. So I had been searching everywhere. I find this one person who had it on listed for $500, but didn't sell it. So I'm like, okay, reach out to this lister. And I'm like, hi, I saw you listed it and didn't sell it. And it was $500. Do you think we can make a deal? Lister gets back to me and says, well, I see it's now around, $1,800. What can we do? And so I tell them the truth. I'm like, listen, my brother's autistic. This is the only thing he wants for his birthday. I don't want to be weird, but I can't afford $1,800. What can we make happen? Turns out this person actually works with special needs adults.
Oh, there you go.
And they're like, if you can just send me a picture of your brother so I know you're not, blowing smoke up my butt, and you can have it for shipping.
Oh, look at that.
And
yeah.
I sent a picture of us on my wedding day, me and my brother, and sure enough, sent it for shipping and sent other Inspector Gadget toys in it too, along with a gift card with a birthday card from Australia, because that's where they were from.
Yeah, right.
And Waterworks, as my brother opens up his gift, and he got it on his birthday, was everything he wanted. And it was not in a package because it wasn't a perfect, hello. It wasn't a perfect toy, but it was exactly what he wanted because he wanted to play with it. Like he wanted to play with it. And absolutely the most perfect toy. Collectors are wonderful people.
Yes, they are.
They know when it's a little different, when you're not really just there to resell it. Like they know when you're there with a good heart. And I will never forget that moment when that person was just like, you know what? If this is what he wants for his birthday, we're going to make this happen for you. Like, I still have the picture of him on my phone. Like, he was so happy. And then like there were more toys in there. It was the most beautiful moment.
That's great. That's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
I love hearing things like that, because that's been my experience for 3 decades, is people that, if I'm asking someone for help to find something, they're like, oh, how long have you been looking? I'm like, 20 years. He goes, all right, hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can make, because my friends will not try to gouge me. And they know, because I preach against it. The segment that follows this is called The Most Outrageous Offer. I don't know if you've heard any of my shows yet, but a copy of the Doctor Who and the Rescue is being sold for $2,000 when you can buy it for 10. So that's, excuse me. Yeah. So that's exactly the kind of thing I've been preaching against for years, is people that are typically not Doctor Who fans.
Yep.
They figure, oh, it's Doctor Who. Boom. And it's clear if you ever go to a site like abooks.com and you search Doctor Who, and they've got these random things that are for $2,000, $3,000. When I try to contact them and go, this book is only $5,000. And they're asking $3,000. Oh, well, we'll look into that. And then of course it disappears a day later because they're like, oh, we can't sell it for $3,000. They're never going to sell it for $3,000. Yeah. So it's crazy, but that's the market. I've been outbid on stuff that I walk away from when I reach my ceiling, and it's like, that's as far as I'm going to go. And then it goes even higher sometimes. It's just, depending on the item, it's, I've been looking for a copy of Loch Ness Monster first edition hardcover. I guess that is the holy grail, because it's sold for over $2,000.
What?
And yeah, very hard to find. Extremely hard to find. It's a very coveted book. But that's the market. The market kind of drives that. If people are willing to spend that kind of money, sellers will be unscrupulous. But there are some good people out there, as you've described. So it's really kind of sometimes it's a slippery slope. And eBay especially, that can be the wilderness sometimes, because there are so many people out there trying to just make money and not really willing to negotiate or take offers or do anything like that. They're like, nope, this is it. I'm like, okay. And then you see it relisted and relisted and relisted and relisted, and it's never selling because they won't work with you. So
it's crazy, because like I have an MBA. I'm very educated. I got a master's in business. And it's like, if someone's willing to work with you, negotiate, and you get it to sell, that, like, logically, you have sold your item. You've made you've done it. Like, you've done it. That's supposed to be like, that's good business.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
essentially made a business partner to sell more items. That should be what you do. I do not understand why you wouldn't do that.
Right.
But
That's
I'm also
why,
a human being with a heart, so like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm like in short supply. But.
Well, it's just funny, because I always tell people, hey, if you're going to look for something, here are the places I'm going to point you to. I'm going to send you to Alien Entertainment. I'm going to send you to Who North America, the Who Shop in London, first. And then I've got a group of people that I've known for years that have sold Doctor Who on Facebook groups and whatnot, and they've never had an issue. And so I'll say, go to these guys, because they, there's Dale Santos in California, there's Jonathan Ruffle in Australia. He's helped me out numerous times, and they're not trying to get you. They usually go with, okay, here's the going rate at what we can determine. But I've had some emails from those guys saying, I'm not going to do that because it's ridiculous. My friend Gene Smith actually has several signed posters from Chicago TARDIS 2007, I guess. And a lot of those people are no longer with us. Well, there's a seller on Facebook selling one of those posters for $4,000. And while that listing is up, Gene can't sell any of his posters because he's worried that someone's going to try to do the same thing. He wants someone to go to a good home, but he'll actually hold on to something. And he's actually tried to challenge that auction a few times, and it's still up there. So he said, well, because I wanted one of those posters. And he said, I can't sell it to you until that guy takes that thing down, because it's just not right that guy's doing that.
Because it makes it look like a fake.
Right, exactly. So it lowers, it kind of takes away from, especially the guy that owns the poster. That's Alien Entertainment's poster. That's their product, and they can't sell it because someone else is trying to sell it for 5 or 6 times its value. And that's what's really sad about the world of collecting. Like I said, it's sometimes tricky. I mean, there are people out there. I mean, well, I got an item right here that is an example. This wonderful Jodie Whittaker Funko Pop.
Yeah.
People are selling it for $1,300 on eBay.
Why?
I don't know why. It's not that special. There are some special editions of this, the convention only ones and stuff like that, but this particular one is not one of them. And my guess is that some of the sellers don't know the difference. So they're not putting the right value on the right item sometimes. And my favorite one is still my $1 million calendar. 1986 Doctor Who calendar, $999,999. It was up there for a while. It's gone now, but I'm like, really? That's my favorite one.
$1 million calendar?
$1 million calendar. Yep.
Ow.
Who's going to, hold on. Here you go.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Add to cart. Add to cart.
One of the reasons I don't, I don't get more into collecting on eBay is because I don't know how to price things. Like I wouldn't know how to trade things. So I just add to cart and move on with my life. But the really hardcore collectors get so nasty. Like they get so aggressive, and it's tough. It's tough to get into the world. I will buy things like what I want, and I'll be like, I want this thing. And I will buy this thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, generally what I like to do is I like to go in and be like, let me see what things have sold and know that's what the value is, as opposed
research,
to what's just sitting up there.
Right.
My cats are being very aggressive with my feet right now. Stop.
That's okay.
I love to see the thing I love about being in the collecting world and being around collectors is that I get to talk about the things that I love to the worlds that I love to live in, the Doctor Who world, the British worlds. One question I wanted to ask you, because there is I've been looking for.
Go for it.
Help me find it. Do you remember the series Probe that was on for a while?
Yes.
I do not know where to find it. I had a VHS of it for a while because and I love Liz Shaw, and I thought it was awesome. And of course, it had all the docs in it. It had Sylvester McCoy. It had Peter Davison. It had Colin Baker. It had John Pertwee in it.
Okay, so you're looking to watch. You want to watch that again, right?
I want to watch it again, or purchase a DVD, VHS of it if I can get it. But
there are no DVDs, but I can tell you this. That whole series is up for free on YouTube.
Is it?
Yes, because that was a BBV production.
Right.
And BBV was a student who was good friends with John Nathan Turner.
Really?
And yes, and something I know my listeners have heard the story because I actually asked Nicola Bryant, because she was in a thing called The Stranger with Colin Baker.
Correct. I watched The Stranger
And-
too. Yeah.
And so when I asked it, she immediately got real silent. And then she said, okay, I need to put on my big girl pants now because that's what Colin said. Hey, we all made mistakes. She said that they were kind of pressured by John Nathan Turner into doing these projects. At some scenes in The Stranger, she said she got very uncomfortable doing.
Yeah.
And then later, they never got paid.
What?
To this day, none of the BBV people ever got paid. So she kind of had to write it off as a bad decision. Although for fans, I said, I'm really sorry, I didn't know that. But as a fan, we didn't know. So we thought, hey, here's our favorite Doctor Who star in another thing. And we because I had all those VHS tapes, and I think I still have some of them lying around. But it's really quite sad. But also, like for instance, the Zero Imperative and some of those other things are all on YouTube.
Yeah,
They all got uploaded.
I remember
because of that.
I remember watching them when I was young. I was like maybe 14, 15, 16. And
Sure.
this is really like a weird arty Doctor Who fan fiction. Like it's like very strange, especially The Stranger, because it's like, it's very, what is this? And you watch it and you're like, I feel like I'm watching Doctor Who plus artiness. And
well, in some cases, Doctor Who After Dark.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
some eroticism. It's very
there's a lot of that in The Stranger, and but some of the stuff like the Zero Imperative and stuff has John Pertwee in it, and Sylvester McCoy and Peter Davison and all these Doctor Who actors are in this production, and they did it as a favor to John Nathan Turner.
Yeah, they're also in they're in Probe too. I mean,
Probe as well. Yeah,
in Probe, I mean she's Liz Shaw, and Louise Jameson is in Probe as well, and and I love me some Louise Jameson. I just do, and
she's wonderful.
wonderful. Leela, and like I know that Leela was such a controversial character, and everyone's like, she running around a little leotard. But I, as a little girl watching Leela, I was unaware she was in a little leotard. I just saw a badass cave woman, in butt, and I thought she was awesome.
She was.
Like Leela was one of my favorite characters in the whole world.
Well, she still does Leela in Big Finish. She loves that character too. And even though it was a rough ride in the 70s, she's come back to it. She and Tom made up a long time ago.
Oh, good.
Because they didn't quite get along. But
yeah, I know.
It was they've made up. They've worked together since. It's wonderful. But yeah, Leela is one of my favorite companions because they kind of replaced the they needed to get rid of the screaming assistant.
Yes.
And 100%. that was the and it's emphasized too in the Five Doctors when Liz Sladen slides down a 2-foot hill and is screaming. And it was kind of like, was that a gag or was that real? But that was exactly the whole thing. And so putting Leela in there, she's gonna kill you.
She kills you, and then she asks questions later.
Yes. And so of course, she does evolve with her time on Gallifrey. Of course, that was her whole thing there. She evolves and gets involved in the Time War and gets with Romana, who's also on Gallifrey. And there's some really cool after stories, some Big Finish tie-ins that really make that work.
And they're all canon now. Thank you so much. They're all canon now.
With Sadie Miller doing her mom on Big Finish, Sadie's great. They brought out original scripts, like the original Revenge of the Cybermen has been done on Big Finish, or a really good story with, of course, with the guy that's doing Harry Sullivan too. So they're doing this whole thing again, and it's really something that we're bringing it all back. We're tying it together, making it part of the canon story, and giving fans another glimpse into that world. So it's a wonderful thing. Gosh, Yeah, and so there you go. I hope I answered your question. You can get those on
Absolutely.
YouTube.
Yeah. I'm super
So,
excited. I'm 100% when we're done with this, I'm going to go inflict probe on my husband and be like,
yeah.
we're watching this. You
If
gotta
you
understand
can't
what
find it, message me and I will send you the links because I have them all
Absolutely.
saved.
I
So
100%
that's
will. Because like
yeah.
I said, the
Oh,
moment we're done, we're going on YouTube and be like, watch this. This is what I watched when I was 16. This explains who I am as a person.
okay. So kind of a couple final questions here. This is one I always ask though. If you could travel in time like the Doctor, what era or moment would you want to visit and why?
Oh, I would absolutely go to the time travelers party with Stephen Hawking's. Mess with his
Yes.
mind. Absolutely. I heard there's a party, man. Are you looking for me? Is it me you're looking for? No, like that's what I always say because I feel like it would be so funny to show up and be like, "Is it me you're looking for?" But no, I think it's kind of a challenging question because I part of me loves being where I am right now because I have such a good life and I have a really wonderful family and I really like it here. But I'm sorry, but how cool would it be to go travel with pirates? Like, can we be honest?
Yeah.
That would be
It
so
would.
amazing. Not just because my favorite Doctor Who Big Finish is Doctor Who and the Pirates, which chef's kiss.
Great songs in that one.
I am the very model of a modern major general.
Yes.
Amazing. Always on my Spotify playlist. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not on my Spotify playlist, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I would love to. I think I would love to kind of like go to a time where you get to explore the world for the first time, and really get to see, like, I want to go somewhere brand new and really explore. I think that would be really cool, or really, really to the far future and see what the world is like when I get to explore the universe for the first time. Because right now we're kind of in an era where we're too early to explore out and too late to explore in. And I'd like to do some exploring. That's why I love Doctor Who so much, is because he explores. He sees things for the first time. And it was what appealed to me so much when I was young, when I was watching it, was being, being a companion and being able to travel with someone who can show me the world, like show me the universe, what's out there. And I always wanted to be able to travel with someone who could, what's out there? What can we see? And now when we travel, we're kind of like, everything's so safe. Like, we're gonna go see, like, see stuff we can already see. I like to travel. Some of the things they have now are these, the ability to travel where you get your envelope where you're going the day of. And I love doing those experiences. My husband and I just did a road trip where you get in the car and you get your envelope and you open it up and it tells you where your first destination is on your road trip and what you're going to do when you get there. That was one of the most fun trips I've ever done. And you can also do that with like plane tickets where you open it up and put plane tickets in there the day of. And I think that those are like the kind of like the closest I'll ever get to a Doctor Who adventure. But yeah, I would love to be able to see something new and go to a time where I could see it fresh.
Awesome. Listeners, my guest today is MJ Huntsgood, author and Doctor Who collector. Tell up our listeners where they can find you out there in the world of social media.
Absolutely. You can find me on almost all social media. I'm on TikTok, I'm on X, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Threads. All social media at MJ Huntsgood, HUNTSGOOD. You can also find me on my website at www.mjhuntsgood.com.
And listeners, you'll find all of those information on the website underneath this podcast. So I want to thank you for being on the show today. This was a really nice conversation. It was really nice to connect with you this way. And I really appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.
Thank you. Listeners, please stay tuned for the most outrageous offer.
We are going on a journey, a very long journey, through the world of the Target novelizations in publication order. Every week, we are looking at a new book, talking about Terrence Dicks, Malcolm Hulke, and all our Doctor Who novelization friends. Whatever you do, keep turning the pages. This is Jason Miller of the Doctor Who Literature Podcast, a member of the Direction Point Podcast Network, and you are listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. Keep collecting.
Hello, fellow time travelers, and welcome to the Doctor Who Target Book Club podcast, the only podcast to discuss, in story order, all the Doctor Who novelizations. My name is Tony Whitt, and every 2 weeks or so, I'm joined by a 2 to 3 person discussion panel, including our so-called expert who's been a Who fan since 1979. That would be me. We also get the views of intermediate, casual, and novice fans who either have never seen the show or who have never read these books until these podcasts, including
Dalton Hughes
and
Alison Fitz-Seyfried.
You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find good podcasts, or even ones like ours. You're listening to the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast on the Direction Point Podcast Network. Keep collecting.
All my travellings throughout the universe, I have battled against evil, against power-mad conspirators. I should have stayed here. The oldest civilization. Decadent, degenerate, and rotten to the core. Power-mad conspirators, Daleks, Sontarans, Cybermen. They're still in the nursery compared to us. 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really corrupt.
Hello and welcome back to the Most Outrageous Offer. After doing all these episodes, I still get these emails, and it just blows my mind what people are asking for certain things. Today is no exception. Today we have a Target book, a run-of-the-mill Target book. In this case, it's Doctor Who Macra Terror. And this was published in 1988. And I've got a seller here, Toscana Books. Sounds familiar. They've been on the show before, Austin, Texas. Asking $4.30 shipping, so that you got to pay for, but the price of the book, $1,484.42. Come on. Come on. Are you kidding me? No one's going to pay that. Not when you can get it for about 18 or less. And I found probably about 50 copies of this book for sale on various sites, from thrift books, half-price books, Amazon, eBay, Abe Books. This is an Abe seller, by the way. So this is crazy, and it doesn't deserve any more time than I'm going to give it to it. But you're not going to get $1,484.42 plus $4 shipping. You might as well throw in free shipping if you're going to charge that kind of money. And if you're going to pay that kind of money, then you definitely, I don't know what to say. But this is crazy. I mean, this is the Macra Terror in paperback, not the hardcover. Even the hardcover doesn't go for more than $150, $200. So this is crazy. So there you go. That is the Most Outrageous Offer. See the screenshots and links on our website. I did take them just in case they go down, because the last episode I did, the links went down too fast. So anyway, I've got it here. But that wraps up the Most Outrageous Offer. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that wraps up the Doctor Who Collectors Podcast. I want to thank my guest today. The great MJ Huntsgood was my guest today. It was a lot of fun talking to her. And you can find her, of course, on all of her socials, including TikTok. And don't forget our TikTok channel. We just got over 1,200 followers. So what's coming up next? In our next episode, we'll be talking with Dylan Rees and Keith Barnfather, Myths and Legends, the real-time picture story. That'll be coming out next. So stay tuned for that. And until then, keep collecting.
Direction point! Direction point!
A Doctor Who podcast network.